Hey, how are you doing? Hopefully, you're doing fine. Hopefully, you had a great weekend. I'm here, as I promised, trying to do the live streams every week. And during today, like today, mostly, I was thinking, what should be the topic of today? Because I believe it should be themed. It should have a topic. So I was thinking that it will be a good topic to talk about tools and services that can help to work from home because the majority of people now work from home. And we, as software engineers, people in tech, we are lucky that we are in the field that is remote friendly. But, anyways, being a software engineer and working from home kind of full time can have its stress points as well. So, that's kind of what I'm planning to talk about today. And basically, all the information I found, it will be something that I know that I used while I was working from home, what I'm currently using with the bootcamp, and also I looked at what other people, other developers find useful to use right now, what tools and services make their life easier to work and work from home in this quarantine time. Alkin Algif, hi, welcome back. How are you doing? Okay, so first of all, right, as developers, since you're remote, being a developer is not a job that is unique. I mean, unique by that you are working by yourself. That's what I wanted to say. Alkin, thank you for the compliment. So, obviously, when being a developer, you have to communicate no matter where you are. If you are in the office, you have to talk with your peers. You have to talk with your stakeholders and so on. And now that you are remote, you have to do that with certain tools and certain applications and services. And we'll get to talk about them in just a moment. Aniket Bagar, sometimes I face network issues while working with remote setup. Yeah, there are a lot of times, especially now that everybody's working from home. There's so much kind of, let's say, stress on the network, on the internet, and all that stuff. And there are multiple times where the connection will drop, or it will be slow, or something like that. We had to restart our router because for whatever reason it was really, really slow. Can you hear me okay? I just want to make sure that the sound is fine. Okay, Alkin, no need to thank me. Let me say it real. Okay, thank you. Ankit, how to tackle such problem? Unfortunately, this is kind of out of our control, right? It's either two ends. Either you're having problems with your internet from your side, right? Your provider is having issues, if you have a good service, or it's a problem on the other side. So, for example, during our bootcamp, we are using Zoom, and a few weeks ago, Zoom had really bad issues with performance. It was really slow. It was lagging horribly. We cannot hear anything what people were saying. It was just horribly, and we just after a while we gave up and we started to use Google. It used to be called Hangouts, and then it's Voice. Now I don't know what this is called, but we use Google to chat, and I really, really liked it. And what I found really useful, it was that you can turn the captions on. You can see and read also what the person says. That was really cool. Alkin, thank you again. Kind of, let's focus on the topics. I appreciate your compliments, but let's focus on the topics. So how do we talk? How do we communicate with with our teammates who are remote also, right? First of all, we're trying to have set up something that is standard, right? If you want to talk and your communication service or application is Zoom, then you make sure that everybody is aware. If you find that there are problems with Zoom, you should have a backup plan and use something else, right? There are many other services like Google has its service. There's also this Jitsi. Jitsi, it's they're saying that they are more secure, more flexible, and completely free video conferencing. And it sounds like a lot of software engineers recommend it. So I have never used it. So I don't know. Have you heard at least about Jitsi? Another service that can be used is Whereby. And that one, I see that it's not free. Well, at least it has personal use, one user, one meeting room, free. But if you have to use multiple meeting rooms, it's free. So if none of these services work, right, you see that for whatever reason, the internet is slow, then you should probably have the phone numbers of your teammates so you can call directly them if there are problems with the internet, if you need to communicate. Yeah, on that topic, Ankit, I'm not sure, but many people told that Zoom is not secure. I agree. There are been a lot of information on the internet right now that Zoom is not secure and has performance issues. And that's true. And as a result, like we are continuing with our bootcamp, we are continuing to use Zoom, but we started to have passwords, and those passwords are reset every like a specific period of time. So yeah, so I heard a lot of stuff like that, but also like at work for video conferencing, we were using Skype for Business, but Skype for Business is retiring right now, where it's in the path on the way to the end of life. And as a replacement is Microsoft Teams. And I really like Microsoft Teams. I've liked everything about it. It's kind of many aspects of it. It's kind of many tools in one box, let's say that, everything you need. So that's kind of, those are kind of known services and applications that are used for video conferencing by software engineers, and they really like it. Again, with the exception of the issues that recently Zoom started to have with their security and with their performance issue, but I believe they're working on that. So hopefully they will address that as soon as possible. Okay, next is kind of, if you don't need to do team messaging, if you don't need to do video conferencing, next thing is you kind of probably do is team messaging. And really popular and is used by a lot of people. I'm sure you all know about it. It's Slack. And that's what we're currently using with our bootcamp. And at work, we used Slack as well, but then we moved out of it. Ankit, how many people can connect in Microsoft Teams video conferencing? There were a lot. We had a lot of people that connected. I don't remember having a limit. Yeah, I don't think we had a limit, but I don't know. I remember that we were a lot of people in our team meetings, and video conferencing worked just fine. We didn't have any issues. So honestly, since we started to use at work Microsoft Teams, I found it really useful, because prior we were using Skype for Business, and obviously I don't remember doing videos with that. My memory is kind of drawing a blank, but I didn't like about Skype for Business, it was that you were not able to search through your history. If you needed to add somebody into your chat, you have to you add somebody and they don't see anything what was in the conversation before that, so you have to type again everything or bring that person up to speed, which is not true in Microsoft Teams. In Microsoft Teams, you can have a conversation with a group of people and then suddenly you realize that you need somebody else's opinion, like somebody's expertise or something like that. You need to run somebody else what you have, the problem that you're facing, or you want to validate the problem, the solution. Maybe you need to do a design session and you want to run that by the principal or architect and so on, right? You easily can add that person and you don't have to worry about did they have the context of the conversation, bring them up to speed. You don't lose that time. So that's what I liked about Microsoft Teams, that you were able to add people in the conversation and them seeing everything that was before that. So I really liked Microsoft Teams. Right now I'm using Slack with our bootcamp, and I don't like it that much. There are a few things that they are doing better than Microsoft Teams, but everything else, I like Microsoft Teams so much better. But that's just my opinion. So, what are you using? What kind of tools are you using for messaging or conferencing? Or, first of all, are you working remotely? Okay. Okay, you're using Microsoft Teams. So, is it a replacement for another communication app that you used before? I assume probably Skype for Business. Okay, so yeah, it's like there are a lot of tools. The most ones are that one that we mentioned, right? Really popular is Slack, Microsoft Teams, and another one is called Tandem. I really haven't heard of it, so I got this information from a blog post today that was published by Danielle Bean on LinkedIn.com. I'm subscribed to his newsletters or his articles that he's posting on a regular basis. And Tandem, it says that a virtual office for remote teams. And it looks like a lot of companies are using it, like Medium, Asana, Lyft, Spotify, Dropbox, Airbnb, Notion, Instacart are using it. I never heard of it before. So yeah, looks like you can connect to it with a Google account. It works for Mac, Windows, Linux, or use Slack. That's what they're saying. I'm not sure why they're saying use Slack. And it has a lot of integrations, like 40 integrations. It integrates with Google Docs, Asana, GitHub, Trello. It's cross-platform, Windows, Linux, Mac. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people are actually using it. So I don't need it now, but I'll give it a try. So those are the kind of the top 3 team messaging tools that developers mentioned that they are using for their communication during these times when they're working remote. Next, since we are developers, a lot of times, right, you have to pair program or you run into a bug and you want to show that code to your teammate or something like that, and you are not sure what's going on. Usually what we were doing before Visual Studio Live Share. So I primarily was using Visual Studio because we were doing C#. So what we were doing usually when we were like, what is wrong with this code? Why is it not working or something like that, right? Or you want to show somebody, here, you should write this code here, or the functionality that you need to implement X and Y, this interface or something like that, can be found here. So usually we would have a Teams call or something like that, and we will share our screen and the person can see what you're showing. And the minus in that case, it was that that person just see what you show. They cannot jump in the code. Let's say if there's a method or function that is not clear to them what it's doing and they want to dive into it and see what's happening. They don't have that control, so they have to ask you. So I believe after I learned about this after I was at Microsoft Build last year, 2019, they talked about live share. And I really liked it. So when I got back to work after that conference, me and our manager of development and a few other developers decided to test it out, and we really liked it. We liked it that you start a live share session and you send that link to your developer or your colleague, and they join the session and they see exactly what you're sharing. They can move the lines up or down. They can dive into the code, and you don't have to kind of scroll for them or something like that. And easily they can program something, write the code, let's say, for you if you need. So that's in case when you need somebody's opinion or like what's wrong here. But in cases when you need to do pair programming or more programming or anything like that, that's our case right now at Bootcamp. We are doing pair programming every day. And for that, we are using VS Code live share, and works amazing. I really like that the person sees my pair, let's say, sees everything from the files that I am sharing, as well as the console and the terminal. They have control over that as well. I can give them control to be read only or write as well. That's amazing. So I really, really like that. And other pair programming tools that are really well recommended by, talked about other developers. It's Atom. I never used it. And it looks Atom is free. I know it's really popular. A lot of people are using it. I heard about it a while ago, but I never actually spent time using it. So are any of you using Atom or used it before? I'm curious to hear what's your opinion on that one. Okay, so Atom, and another one is PyCharm. And PyCharm, I checked it. It's by JetBrains, which I really like this company. I like their ReSharper. We used that word ReSharper for a very long time, and I really, really miss it. But PyCharm looks like it's a paid service or paid application, which, yeah, I'm sure it's great. But if you are kind of working with somebody, you have your entrepreneur, you have a few developers, something like that, maybe this is not the tool because it's paid when there are so many great services that are free. Like, for instance, Visual Studio Code is amazing and it's free and has so many extensions. I really, really like it really much. So what tools do you know of that are great for pair programming? Vim, yes. One of our instructors uses Vim, and he really likes it, and I don't think he will ever want to move to something else. Felipe Valdez. FTW, I don't think I heard about that. FTW meaning for the win. Okay, a new acronym that I learned today. Cool, thank you. Thank you, Felipe. So another one that I see here is Tuple. I haven't used it, but it's, again, from the article that I read today by Daniel Bean, and it says that the best remote pair programming app on Mac OS. So apparently this is only for Mac OS, which brings me back to something that I wanted to mention with Visual Studio Code. I really like the fact that it's cross-platform. Like, when we are pair programming, we are rotating, right? And I have one day my pair is on the PC. The next day he's on an Apple device, so he's on Mac OS or something like that, right? And it works fine without any problems. So I find Visual Studio Code really reliable, and I really enjoy that. Okay, so those are the pair programming tools that are recommended, and people in the tech industry say that that those tools make their life easier in these times when we have to work from home. Okay, Felipe Valdez, Gobi was fun once. Okay, let me check it out. I don't think I ever heard of that one. It's developed by GitHub. Interesting. Yeah, I never heard of it. So yeah, well, thank you for adding that into the comment. It's something that I always find something new information. So I appreciate that. Okay, so those were kind of the tools that people say that makes them happier or easier to work remote. Another thing that also developers are recommending is to use tools that help maintain a life or work-life balance, which is really challenging right now because you don't have the separation that you're going into the office and then come back and kind of have that kind of you stop working. You are not leaving the house and you have to work, and it's really easy to bring that into your life. So people recommending to use like task tracking or to use Pomodoro applications, which helps you to focus. And also they recommend Focus To Do, which I just checked Focus To Do and really, really liked it. So I actually downloaded it and I'm planning to use it. So those were the tools that I wanted to mention. Which tools or services that I didn't mention I should definitely know of? Feel free to comment and suggest anything. Felipe Valdez, Gobi is real-time Google Docs-like experience for code. Okay. So it basically doesn't have an IntelliSense or anything like that, right? Rescue time. I don't think I ever heard of that. And so, thank you. Yeah, no IntelliSense. That was kind of what I kind of guessed from that. So yeah, what else? When I was working, I really started to like and enjoy really much. What was it called? It was Microsoft Workflow. It was so great that I automated so many tasks. Like when I would finish something and I needed to do reports or anything like that, and I didn't like to write reports or anything like that, I'll automate those tasks and the emails will be sent automatically to stakeholders. Or I'll have reports written that will look on the board of what tasks are there, and if their program progress were not happening, kind of was a notification for me to, okay, what's going on there? Go check, right? Felipe Valdez, have you found any tools with which allows bidirectional screen sharing? No, I haven't found any tools that will allow bidimensional screen sharing. And that's kind of one of the things that I kind of don't like about pair programming, right? Sometimes when you are doing a live share, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a live share and Visual Studio Code. They have control, your pair has control over your files, code, terminal, console, right? But when you have to share, so let's say if you have to run the code, your pair doesn't see what you're seeing, so you have to share, and they will have to ask you to do something. And actually, this week by accident, me and my pair discovered that there's with Visual Studio Live Share, there's a live server, and in that case, basically that server is running. You get the local host ID and so on, and you can provide it to your pair, and they can run the code independently of you. You don't have to share that page. But other than that, no, like I couldn't find, I don't know of anything that sharing will allow them to kind of have control over your screen. Other than just giving them full control, right? I think we did that with what was it? I think it was Skype for Business and Microsoft Teams, right? You can give control to the person you're talking with, and they can drive for you. So that was one thing that kind of comes close to what you're asking. So yeah. So hopefully you found something interesting here. It's Sunday evening. A lot of people are tired and want to go and relax and have a good time and recharge their batteries before another week of crazy time. Hopefully you have a good work-life balance in these crazy times. It's not easy. Actually, I read a lot on Blind. There are a lot of people asking how people or parents that work in tech, how do they manage this? Because daycares are closed, you have to work and you have to take care of your kids, and it's not really easy at all. And people are just trying with their spouse, with their partner, boyfriends, girlfriends, trying to come up with a schedule or a plan that will make them work as effective as possible. Some people have worked 2 hours. One partner works 2 hours while the other partner is watching the kids, and then they switch. The other person does 2 hours. Or some people get up really early. They work for 4 hours or something like that. Then other people, the kids and the other spouse wakes up, and then they take turns. So it's a really challenging time for a lot of people, and it's you're having you have to be a parent and you have to work, and it's not easy to do that at the same time. And being a software developer is not sharing memes is also fun. Yeah. Also, Zoom virtual backgrounds. Yeah, I saw one of that one. It's also about Zoom, which is great. None of the other tools so far that I know or read of have breakout rooms. That's a really amazing functionality of Zoom. So what I was saying is that it's not really easy right now. So just try to do your best, what you can, and take care of yourself, take care of your family, and do the best you can with the job, and everything will sort itself, hopefully. So yeah, I guess we will wrap up here. If there are no questions, I wish you a good evening, and we will talk next time. And if you want to suggest something, any topic for the next live share, that will be probably next week, feel free to drop them in the comments. I will definitely like to have this interesting and going, so people will be entertained and involved, and suggest anything and actually active participating. Thank you, Felipe, for being here and for participating. That means a lot. I suggest static code analysis tools. Okay, we'll have to look into that one. Cool. Well, thank you very much, and have a good rest of the evening, night, or rest of the whichever part of the day it is where you are. So just sharing my screen too. Okay, I will have to figure out how to do that. I haven't figured that out. Let's see. Is there a way? I'll have to try that. I'm sure there's a way. But right now, I'm not. Participants. Okay, I'll have to look. I will have to manage how to do that. And also, I was thinking maybe a little bit further down the line and the road, we can do a fun project together. Something. So if there are any fun projects that we can do easily in about an hour, hour and a half, feel free to drop them in the comments as well. Well, thank you for joining me and see you next time. Bye bye. Take care and stay safe.